Hello and welcome to the show. I am back on Forza Horizon 4 with, well, kind of another rally car build. This Volvo 242 is technically already built, but it was the most requested car from last time out, so it's going to have a chance to impress on the beach rally stage. You see, a little while ago I did a live stream session on Horizon 4. I was building rally cars to run them down one of the game's standard circuits, if you like, and this was one of the cars that was requested during that. So it is built up to S1 class. It is built to the specs that I use for this series. So all-wheel drive, rally tyres, and so on. It doesn't actually get to the top of the class. It gets to 874 in terms of PI, which, I mean, is not bad. And this is something that we will probably see a little bit more, I say in this series, in general on Horizon 4, when you are starting to use lower PI cars to begin with, some of them don't get insane engines, and they may well not get all the way to the top of S1 class. The Volvo itself, I have engine swapped it. Well, if a car can make the PI with its standard engine, it will. This certainly wouldn't. Even with 3.2 litre i6, it won't make it. Your other option is the Turbo Rally engine, and while the Turbo Rally engine is better, I say better in this game, you can get a lot more power out of it. Now, it won't quite match that of the i6. 761 horsepower from this 551 torque. Weight-wise, not too bad. Just under 3,000 pounds. Certainly lighter than we saw from the Demon. I mean, you would perhaps hope and expect this to be a little bit better when it comes to the off-roading side. Naturally, we have got the rally tyres. Tyre widths are not massive on here. 255s at the front, and I presume 255s indeed at the rear. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's not, you know, the 355s that we saw on the Demon, but it's hopefully going to be enough to give the car a decent amount of grip. As I said, weight is a smidge on perhaps the heavier side to some cars, and certainly some of the stuff we're going to see running in this series. There's going to be some very light cars with an awful lot of power taking on the course, but handling the beach, handling the sand is a little bit of an unknown quantity, really. Whether light cars are going to fare better or worse around there, we don't really know fully as of yet. We know the Demon was very quick. The Volvo, I'm hoping, will be pretty decent. That is a fingers crossed moment, at least. So, here we are on the start line with our Volvo. The target time to beat a 1:59.7 set by the Demon. I mean, if we can get into the low 2 minutes, that is doing fairly well. I would expect this to be able to beat the likes of the Unimog, beat the likes of the Bentley, but you never really know when it comes to this course. Oh, that's a fun bump that's not affected anything as badly as that yet. That's unusual. I mean, I was maybe out a little bit out of position slightly through there, a bit out of position through here as well, which is not ideal for the Volvo. Okay, I mean, maybe not go sideways over that particular bit of terrain is good advice for future runs. We can get away chucking the car about through some of these corners as you're trying to find any sort of speed. There is no, that's not quite got as much turn in through there as I was expecting. We have got away with at least tagging the checkpoint. This is not a great first run, although, as ever, first runs are a little bit more experimenting as to what we can do with the car. I fear actually a little bit for the Volvo. Front end, and it's not bad, but the front end does struggle a little bit getting turned in to some of these corners compared to, and I know it's going to sound weird, but compared to the Demon, does feel like we struggle to get turned in a little bit more. What is our straight line speed like down here is an interesting question. We got just past 100 with the Demon. It's not that much slower, considering, you know, all the power and torque the Demon had. This is not that much slower, and that is good news. That is good news for the Volvo. We know we're not going to be obviously struggling on acceleration front then if we are capable of doing that. I think that might have been a little bit too sideways on the beach there, which is far from ideal. A little wide, nothing too terrible though, as we head through the, I don't know what on earth to call this section. However, it's a fun section nevertheless as the car bounces from side to side down there. Yeah, the power down as we exit the hairpin. It's up towards the big jump. There is a stuck AI car. Gotta hope they don't reverse at a wonky angle. We've only ever seen one do it, but they can do it. They're well enough behaved. It is... Oh, run across towards the finish line. I got things a little bit out of shape. Similar... Oh, why is there a focus there? I don't know. But we'll crash into it anyway. Similar, I got out of shape with the Demon on its first run. It's a 2:05.6. I know there was certainly a couple of places we were all sorts of out of shape. It's, I say, to be expected. There's definitely plenty more speed to come from that. Well, it was a little bit of a scruffy first run. Here is hoping for more speed out of the car. Don't want to get hit on that early bump. Again, it didn't cost us 5 seconds. However, if we could avoid all of the little incidents, that would be quite nice. I mean, I can't really complain too much about the vehicle. It's certainly not a bad performing car out here. Oh, I just don't think, oddly, we have quite got the grip around here that I really want from a car. And that may be where we struggle. I think we can still go fairly fast. As strange as it is, a car, you know, well known for its rallying and racing and so on, up against a car. Well, the Demon, built as a drag car, basically handles a bit better around here than the Volvo. So I think it's certainly not a bad handling car, this at all. But there are a couple of places where I'm almost driving it like I'm expecting, or driving it like I was driving the Demon, and it does not respond quite as well. We're better this time around. It's neater, it's tidier, apart from a little bit wide out there. That doesn't really cost us too much time. Oh, got that corner turned into a fraction too soon. Got to grab the handbrake to get away with it. And there we go, we're out onto the back straight. Now, acceleration time. What we're going to get up to this run around 103 miles an hour. Not too bad at all. Now, down here, I think maybe we try and not slide the car if we can help it. Try and go for a little bit more of a sensible approach. That's where we lose time there. I can't carry the speed coming off of the beach in the same way that quite a few other cars have been able to. I think we've had cars up towards 80 miles an hour, like just exiting that corner and still having the grip to fire themselves up the hill. Even with me being sensible, even with me being well positioned, the Volvo was not too happy about any of that. We have got AI car up ahead. He's not going to give us any grief. We will fly towards the castle. It's a little bit wonky in the air again. Don't get out of shape over the crest on the tarmac. Run towards the finish line. Much better run. Much more like it from the 242. That is 202.6. It is a fraction down on the MGBs. Second may well be doable with the Volvo. Don't think we're going to touch the Demon though. Well, we are on to the final run with the Volvo. A whopping 3 seconds is needed to challenge the Demon, which I don't think is particularly achievable. However, a 10th needed to claim second. That I might be able to manage. We will have to wait and see. We're going to try and be more controlled. Still doesn't really like the exit to that first section. I mean, it's not as bad as the first run. It's just unusual to see that as an issue with the car. In terms of beating the MGB, I think we've actually got pretty good acceleration. I feared in this car we were going to struggle for that. You know, power to weight ratio wise, this is probably one of the weaker, if we ignore the Unimog slightly as a bit of an oddball, being such a giant truck. This is probably one of the weaker cars in terms of power to weight ratio. That being said, it is still accelerating. It's getting up to similar speeds to the Demon in terms of the acceleration parts. It's perhaps, as strange as it is to say again, it's the cornering. That's where we just lack a little bit of grip from this. The banking there is actually a really difficult one. Very easy for the cars to get thrown out wide, and you ended up, and we saw it a little bit with the Demon, the car get thrown out wide and you're almost going right into a left-hander. Not something you want to be doing in particular. Actually a little early on the brakes through there, that was my bad. Just trying to get sort of neat runs and whatnot with the car, and I was actually got it a little bit wrong with the Volvo. Now, can we be clever? I think we'll be clever here. I'm trying to thread that all together. That is better for the run up the hill, although you've got to bear in mind when you carry that sort of speed up the hill, your braking points all change because you're going 10 miles an hour faster than you might have been doing before. And, well, on sand in a course where your average speed is probably, I don't know, 50 miles an hour maybe, the 10 miles an hour suddenly difference in a corner is quite the dramatic impact. I don't know if this run's good. There are bits that have been good. There's a couple of slight scruffy bits on here. Are we going to have done a better run as we are through the castle? It bounces a little bit more on the tarmac than I would have liked. We are going to do a better run. I'd say it's more like it. A little bit more speed got out of the Volvo. It's down to a 201.8 and a Spree an 037, and they're not having a fun time around here. Yeah, I mean, it's a good car. It is certainly a good car. It's actually surprisingly scary over everywhere. The bit on the tarmac is actually quite scary with this. It kind of goes over that crest towards the finish line. It gets very, very light. It's not actually jumping. It's not in the air. I guess the suspension unloads. It's not been something that we've really seen happen with any of the other vehicles. It's something new to have to deal with. Thankfully, there's only one small section. If you've got it pointing in a straight line, you know, well enough, it doesn't actually matter all too much. It's not a bad time in the end for the Volvo. I said not a bad time. It's going to go second. Okay, it can't quite compete with the Demon. It might have the acceleration just about in most places to match the Demon, but it doesn't get around the corners quite as nicely. But the second place is still not too bad. We move almost a second clear of the MGB, comfortably beating the Bentley, the Rallycross Fiesta, and of course that Unimog. Considering as well, this is, you know, a fair few PI down on the competition. It's not too bad. It's like 25 PI down on the other cars, just because I can't get any more parts in the vehicle. That is not too bad at all for the Volvo. Good fun to drive around the beach rally stage, but it will not be a new leader here. That, though, is going to be it for this video. If you'd like to suggest cars to run in the next episode, the next build, please leave them in the comment section. The most voted car, if I A, have the money to buy it and be able to be run within the regulations, will be ran next time out. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.